Now it's exactly 11 days to the 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. And the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmud Yakubu, moments ago confirmed that elections would not hold in 240 polling units nationwide. INEC chairman stated this at a meeting with leaders of political parties in Abuja. The reason he advanced was that nobody chose to vote in the affected polling units. Mr. Yakubu, however, expressed worry over the rising attacks on party supporters in some parts of the country. TVC News senior correspondent was live on our earlier bulletin, where he confirmed that Imo State has the highest number of affected polling units.
INEC chairman is bringing political parties up to speed with the preparations of the commission ahead of the election. And he is saying that these 240 polling units elections will not be conducted there because there are no registered voters in this particular polling unit. He said that during the continuous voter registration, nobody applied to be posted to that polling unit so that they will to cast their vote there. And he said most of this is largely for security reasons, especially in areas where there are security concerns. In most of the states of the federation, there are at least between 1 to 12 polling units where elections will not take place. But Imo State has the highest. 38 polling units in Imo State will not have elections. Elections will not be conducted in 38 polling units in Imo State, followed by Taraba State with about 34 polling units. He said there are no new registrants at these polling units, and no voter indicated their interest in casting their ballot in these polling units. What they didn't emphasize on the security situation because they've had interactions and consultations with security agencies and other the police and other security agencies about providing security for the election, and they have gotten that assurance from these security agencies that the polls will be secured, the ballot will be protected. But there are still concerns in some areas of the country, but these concerns are not expressed by registrants who refuse to choose certain polling units in areas where they consider a bona fide. It's not for INEC to force people to some people choose where they would like to cast their vote. And as it is, all of these 240 polling units that INEC has highlighted, nobody applied to be posted there to go and vote. It may be for security concerns and it may be for other reasons. INEC says security concerns might also be one of the reasons why people are refusing to go to certain areas.
And for more on this latest development, let's bring in TVC News political correspondent Ayo Delo Zubakun, who joins us via phone. Ayo, this is the latest coming from INEC in terms of polling units where people will not be voting. What is the implication of this for the election, especially in Imo State with the highest number of polling units?
Now, the implication is that it might affect the turnout. Now, the creation of this polling unit is primarily doctored at making sure that your polling unit is just very close to your doorstep. That the next house to your house on election day, maybe in front of your house, it to be very accessible. It to be a walking distance to your house, so that immediately on election day, you can just exit the franchise and enter your house. Now, in 2019 and 2015, these polling units were just 120,000 polling units. Now, we now have 175,000, over 175,000. Now, if INEC is saying they want to cancel 200 out of it, that is less than 1% of over 175,000 polling units. So the implication is that if I were to be an individual and the polling unit in front of my house is just a psychological thing that, I wouldn't want to leave the front of my house. So if the polling unit closest to me is cancelled, I won't want to go to a further polling unit to exercise my franchise just because of possible breakdown of law and order in volatile states like Imo State.
So for the benefit of our viewer, Ayo, who is wondering right now that, because normally, when we have elections and INEC will say, there was violence in some polling units and we had to cancel elections there. and sometimes it has impact on the overall result. Explain to our viewer who is wondering right now the impact that this might have on the overall elected result that might be announced after the presidential and National Assembly election. Does this have any implication on that?
Do the mathematics. It's not going to be significant. It's 200 out of 175,000 polling units. I don't want us to raise panic out of this. That will not in any way disenfranchise people or not in any way rob some people substantially from casting their votes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
For security measures.
All right. I just wanted you to clear that up, and I'm glad you did, that this doesn't have any significant impact because of the number of polling units, 240 against the 175. That's less than, you said 1%. Thank you so much for talking to us and bringing us clarity on this. Senior correspondent Ayodele Ozugbakun.